Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the AIAA Los Angeles Las Vegas section briefing at 5:30, February 6th. We have very exciting briefing talk by a very good speaker, and she will tell us a very interesting program and to help your career. And as I chatted with attendee and Bridget earlier, one important message for her presentation and our AIAA effort is related to the career and the workforce development in AIAA. AIAA has many task forces. You have technical, professional, and a K-12 education, university education, research professors, and you have the technical side. Then you have membership side, a young professional, public policy, which is very important. That Bridget also kind of involved. We can also help everybody's career, but career and the workforce development is a valid, very important topic for AIAA, and of course research as well. So we look forward to work further with Bridget, and also we are trying to provide a platform. So for example, Mr. Shimizu and people here, they can network with Bridget or fellow attendees online or in person and find your career. We can provide networking opportunity to help your career in conventional companies or in this kind of new track. And like before the recording started, we talked to Dr. Adrian Guzman from Mexican Space Agency. Commercial space is very important for the space industry right now. Also have been several years, and actually AIAA has been doing New Space Mini Conference every April since many years ago, intended to bring people attention about this important activity, very vibrant activity. For AIAA National, we have the called Ascent Forum every November or October. Last year it was in Las Vegas. We have this also commercial space effort. I think 2 years ago, at least 2 or 3 years ago, I remember the Mr. George Whiteside. At that time was the CEO of Virgin Galactic, and he was leading the task force for the Ascent, AIAA Ascent Forum. Of course, I heard that he's now advisor. He's no longer the CEO, but he's still the advisor to Virgin Galactic. So, this kind of things. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Guzman. You're right. So actually, we might have some gentlemen from that company. Well, he hasn't signed yet. He actually work in Virgin Galactic. So, okay. So basically, AIAA is a nonprofit professional organization, membership based. We have, of course, the backbone is professional membership, and the membership has different levels. Like honors, you can advance to associate fellow, honorary fellow. For example, Miss Green Shotwell of SpaceX, she's leading the SpaceX here in Hawthorne. She's our honorary fellow, and of course, the vice president of SpaceX flight safety, Dr. Gerstenmaier, Bill Gerstenmaier. He's also our honorary fellow. Elon Musk is our member as well. And of course, it's George Whiteside, Mr. George Whiteside, and many people you can name it. We have grassroots, we have students and leadership. Our executive director, Mr. Dan Dambacher, he is the former NASA manager on the first reusable rocket. It's called the DCXXA. In case you miss it, you can check our recording on video on YouTube. It's December. He led his team in NASA in the early 90s actually 20 years ahead of SpaceX and Blue Origin. So just explain to you what is our people and the characteristic of our organization. So membership is very important. We have free education membership and also free high school students. And we went out to, as judges, to science fair, outreach to K-12 school, universities. We have 4 university student branches, including where Bridget is, UCLA. We have UCLA student branch. We have USC student branch. We have Cal State Long Beach student branch. We have UNLV student branch within our Los Angeles, Las Vegas section. So that's basically how this organization works. We have overall 30,000 members and a very high ranking and also grassroots, mid-level leadership, technical education student globally. So this just tell you, this is the ALW is the leading organization in professional aerospace. So it's really a good community for you. Once you join, you can check the Engage platform and chat with other people. And I think that's pretty much it is, and I encourage to look into it. AIAA.org/join. You can see the membership level. So while these are the laundry lists I have to go through, so now we cannot wait for the exciting briefing from Miss Bridget Johnson. You see her bio. She's a great manager, director in the program. Especially, I noticed in engineering research, that's very important for AIAA. AIAA actually has a new initiative to split our effort into three domains. 1, aeronautics. 2, research. 3, space. So this matching very well each other. So without further ado, let's welcome Ms. Bridget Johnson.
Great. Thank you so much, Ken. Really appreciate you making the time today and everyone joining online and in person. Great to be able to present this program I've been working on for the last 1.5 years with you guys. Real quickly, before I jump into the slides, I'm going to go ahead and send my information in the chat here. If anyone wants to follow up with more information, I can also get this information over to those in person. So without further ado, let's get started. As Kim mentioned, my name is Bridget Johnson. I am here today to present to you a program called SCALE that is run in partnership with UCLA and Starburst Aerospace. So SCALE is a 13-week program that is funded by the Department of Commerce as a public-private partnership between UCLA and Starburst. Starburst fully runs the accelerator programming for early stage aerospace founders. So the program, as I mentioned, is a 13-week curriculum. We leverage support from mentors who are attached to our community as subject matter experts or leading workshops for us during these 13 weeks to support founders as they're in their early stages of getting founded and expanding. So some of the goals of this program are to establish the LA region as an aerospace hub, really supporting that. Also helping to advance technology readiness levels of the startups in the program, as well as leveraging the talent that is graduating from the many universities we have in the area and utilizing some of that engineering talent coming out of the universities to support the startups growing in the region. So the program is run in collaboration with UCLA, although that does not exclude any other universities if they have students, professors, or others who are attached to their ecosystem that are interested in participating in the program, whether as a founder or as a mentor. And then at the bottom of this slide, these are just some of the partners that we have attached to the program who are supporting us here. So as I mentioned, on the left-hand side of this presentation, you can see the overarching goals we have for the program. So again, That's to advance technology in the aerospace industry, supporting the development of these startups through mentorship and providing clearer, easier access to resources that you need in these early stages. Then, of course, driving the economic growth in the region, that's supporting, hiring talent in the area, and then really trying to help companies that are being developed here stay here so we can support that growth locally. And then finally, all these things sort of coming together to support the region as that deep tech aerospace innovation hub. So Starburst has over 200 mentors attached to the ecosystem. That's a global count, I would say, for this program. We're right around probably a little less than 200 specifically for scale. We take anywhere from 8 to 10 companies per cohort. Right now, we're about to announce applications for the 5th cohort that'll be kicking off this spring. We have 4 pilot and test facility partners, so that includes UCLA, MITRE, RAND Corporation, and JPL. And then probably one of the biggest selling points for the program is that it is completely free. So because this is funded by the Department of Commerce, there's no equity exchange or any charge to participate. So that's a great bonus as well. So here is just outlining, highlighting all of the different ecosystem nodes we have around us to support this growth. So not only do we see a lot of different startups emerging or established in the area, but of course we have the traditional industry surrounding us, academia, so a lot of different universities around that we can pull from, as well as government players. So again, this is just sort of to highlight the wealth of resource and information we have around us and how can we connect these things to better serve the emerging market in the commercial sector. And again, just a different way at looking at all the different players we interact with here, whether through mentorship or through customer discovery and acquisition or support from the investor community. We're really looking to bridge the gap between all these different segments and support the founders that are trying to innovate and disrupt in the industry and how we can pull from whatever resource we need to support that. So again, you have the different universities here who can either, if they have students in their programs who are interested in starting their own companies, will be a perfect fit to look at the SCALE program as a starting point. Or if there are professors or other subject matter experts there who are just looking to get involved with what's new and up and coming in the industry, I think this is a great segue as well. And then, of course, one of the main drivers for this is really supporting that early stage funding support. Pre-seed, seed stage is where we sit for this program. So looking to introduce you to the right players in the investment landscape who sort of understand the timeline and quickly grasp your solution as something that's necessary to move the industry forward. So here's just a better breakdown of some of the high-level topics that we cover in the 13 weeks. In the first few weeks, we focus on the foundations of your startup. So looking at your business model, dissecting the assumptions that you have for some of the goals you may have, and then really drilling down on milestone setting and how you scope that out for the raise, for the round that you're looking to raise. We then go into the initial basics of forming the investor-ready pitch deck and start getting those elements in place. We take a heavy look at branding and storytelling around How do you formulate your message for the different audiences you'll be speaking to? So whether you're speaking to your peers or potential customers or investors, you have a different message that you want to tailor that to for each audience so that you're making sure that you're getting your point across as clearly and succinctly as possible. So we dive deep into the storytelling element and then talk about how to market and communicate the solution that you're offering. We'll then spend some time going into hiring practices and how do you build your business for the long term? How do you put structures in place for long-term growth? What are those things that you need to think about? And then about halfway through, we'll do a deep dive into the specifics of doing business in the aerospace and defense landscape. So how do you work with the DoD? How to get those SBIR and STTR grants from the government, like how to take advantage of resources that are there. And then also how to identify the government as your customer, how best to work with them. And we'll do a deep dive through that. And then finally, for the last few weeks of the program, we'll look into strategy. We'll do the basics around legal and your financial structure and projections. Do a heavy lift the last few weeks on venture capital and making sure that deck and that story around the investment opportunity is really crisp and clear. Throughout these 13 weeks, we have checkpoints where bi-weekly we have investor pitch practices. So we'll have those very knowledgeable investors volunteer their time to give you candid feedback on the things that they're hearing, the things that they're missing, and the things that they would like to see as you go out to raise that round. And then finally, of course, we'll culminate the whole 13 weeks in a demo day for you to just show the world and show the investors that you're looking to engage what you've been working on, what your solution is, and ideally be able to walk away with being confident with raising that round. So again, this is more specifics about some of the things we'll cover in those 13 weeks. So again, the storytelling piece, how to craft your story, how to captivate the right audience. How do you develop your prototype, and how do you distill out or call out your unique value proposition? Really doing in-depth market analysis and knowing the size of the opportunity that you're going after, both in the aerospace sector, but as well as any commercial applications you have as well. And then finally, of course, navigating, working with the DoD and the government, and also, how to solidify those customers and identify the right investors to support you as you continue to scale and grow. So the key determinants of success here, we've had a proven track record in the past. Scale is not the only accelerator offered by Starburst. Its first accelerator, the flagship accelerator, launched in 2015. And since then, we've seen at least 40% of the startups who are going through our programs closing their rounds within 6 months of completion. So we're bringing the expertise, the specialists, the industry know-how, and really hone in and focus on helping you to establish your solution and grow that into the networks that are most beneficial for you. So the cohort is really emphasizing that product market fit for you, and then also giving you the tools and the resources necessary to enter the fundraising landscape and make sure that you're providing the messaging and the materials necessary to prove that traction in that sustainability long term. So a little bit more about Starburst quickly here. So as I mentioned, we have the flagship accelerator, just called Starburst Accelerator, that kicked off in 2015. Prior to that, Starburst started off as a aerospace consulting firm in Paris in 2012, and quickly realized the need for early stage support with startups in the ecosystem. So launched their first accelerator in 2015, and since then have a little over half a dozen other startups running globally, with different program partners and different goals, but all with the same overarching mission of supporting the growth of early stage companies in the industry. The SCALE program sits under one of three arms for Starburst. So there is the accelerator arm, consulting, and our newly established venture fund. So the accelerators are a great source of scouting and supporting early stage opportunities, and really getting your hands around some of the greatest solutions that are developing early on, in supporting them. And then we have our consulting arm, which is looking at providing recommendations for those more established industry corporates, industry primes, who are looking for innovative solutions, either to acquire, merge with, or integrate into their activities going forward. And then finally, the venture fund is looking at investing in these pre-seed and seed opportunities coming out of the accelerators, as just further opportunity for us to support really, really great founders who are looking to further their solutions in the sector. So all of these arms sort of feeding into each other to provide a comprehensive ecosystem for early stage founders in the space. So some of the technologies that we look at, and this slide is not all encompassing of the types of things that we consider under the aerospace umbrella. We have a very broad reach that we consider here. So your traditional sectors that you think of under aerospace. So mobility, including satellites and data communication, remote sensing, regional mobility, urban mobility opportunities, including eVTOL and UAS solutions, and then also infrastructure support and any enabling technologies. So anything in robotics or sensors, quantum computing, cybersecurity, all of these will be applicable and will be great opportunities to participate in the SCALE program, or any of our, or take advantage of any of our programs here at Starburst. So here's a closer look at some of those programs we offer that I mentioned. So at the earliest stages, we have the program that we run out of the Tel Aviv office with IAI. And then we have quite a few programs that are sitting at this early stage, pre-seed, seed stage support for founders. So SCALE, as I mentioned, that is our US early stage accelerator. BLAST is in Paris. And then we have these few others mentioned here: the Future Air Mobility Accelerator, Singapore Aviation Accelerator, Allied Defense Accelerator, and then Astra as well. So these all sit in that pre-seed sort of seed stage for entrepreneurs. And then, as I mentioned as well, we have our flagship accelerator that's just called the Starburst Accelerator, that is running a 12-month program looking at seed and pre-series A startups looking to boost your business development efforts there. So working with entrepreneurs across the spectrum here and really trying to offer our support to help further growth of companies in the industry. So overall, over these last several years, we've researched and screened more than 9,000 startups. I think that number is a lot larger now. We've had more than 1,000 startups pitch at our many pitch events. We have more than 100 years of aerospace experience combined through our mentor network and the resources we have here to support. And then we're also been partnered with more than 100 labs and universities around the world, and have also worked with more than 65 corporate and government partners on various programs. So a very wide network to work with and leverage. So these are some of the companies that we've worked with, whether through mentorship or through various partnerships from some of the programs that we've run in the past. And that's all I had. So if there's, as I mentioned, we'll be announcing applications for the SCALE program opening here very soon. But if you have anyone in your network who you think might be interested in the opportunity to participate in Accelerator, or if you're interested in being a mentor and joining us in supporting these startups, happy to talk to you and connect to see how we can collaborate further. Any other questions? Happy to answer anything you got.
Any question from folks here or online? Linda, 1 second. Allowed to call. Jeremy, I hear you. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, we have Jeremy from FAA. So you have any question? Okay, take easy.
I think I
any
see
question
one here.
Okay.
I can address the one in the chat.
Okay, but let's see. Linda, do you want to speak out? Linda, go ahead.
Okay, I didn't have control to unmute, so I like the information that are very helpful. I just wanted to know how to enter your program. Is there a website? Maybe you had it earlier on the slide, or phone to contact?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I will, on starburst.aero is where you can find the navigation to the SCALE program, and the application will be there, but I'm going to go ahead and drop the link here in the chat for everyone as well.
The other question I have as a follow-up is, so I have the investor pitch. Do you have kind of a program or help to just expedite your 10 weeks program? Basically, just review those and see if they're suitable for presentation and connecting with you investor community directly without going through the initial assessment.
Right. So basically seeing how you can get investor support without going through the accelerator program, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I haven't seen that in my time here. Usually the accelerator, the support offered in terms of investment and all of that is one of the great benefits of participating in the accelerator. So I think those go hand in hand, unless you have completed a program or accelerator or some type of relationship prior, then we tend not to offer that, only because it would get a little too overwhelming with requests, and then we wouldn't be able to properly service those who are going through the accelerator. So first I would say if there is an accelerator opportunity that seems like a match for you, but you still wanted to participate in the community, I would suggest still reaching out, and there may be a program fit or an event fit. And then we can sort of discuss from there how we can support. But initially, everything funnels through one of the accelerator programs.
Okay, thank you. I might
Sure.
have some other question, but I'll wait until everybody else
Okay.
finishes their question.
Can I ask one question? This is Sayer from Gita again.
Sure.
It seems like you have multiple alumni of your program through this through your past project. So how many are there, and where and how can we meet them, or are they all in a stealth mode, or like do you
Sure.
have some kind of demo day or a public event that we can meet with them?
Yeah. So throughout the program, we usually have a in-person mixer for the founders just to meet more people in the community that we do a broad announcement to. So if you're subscribed to the Starburst newsletter, it'll definitely be in there. But then also, as you mentioned, there will be a demo day at the end of the 13 weeks that is open to the public as well. So that's probably the best place to meet all of the startups that are in the cohort. The ones who have gone through prior are currently listed on the homepage of our website. So you can see all their logos and stuff there. And if there's any of them that seem interesting to you to want to do more work with or learn about, you can feel free to reach out to me directly and I can connect you with the founding team for further discussion.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I found the logos of your past cohorts. Yeah, thank you very much for
Great.
the information.
Mhm. Sure thing.
Hey, this is Amber Perez. I'm with the Aerospace Corporation. I just wanted to ask, how far in your idea for like a startup or a business should you be? Should you already kind of have ground broken, or sort of what do you think?
Yeah, great question. So the only prerequisites for the program are that you have to be incorporated and that you have one full-time member dedicated to the idea, ideally two team members, but at least one full-time. And the reason for incorporation is because one of the main goals is helping to raise funds from investors, and that'll just make things a lot easier.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing.
Hi, I'm Dozier Molnar. I've had projects before that were VC funded, and I don't necessarily want to do that again. And
Yeah.
I have a project that's fairly far along and certainly capable to pitch to Department of Energy, AF Works, and others. Do you deal with such projects as far as getting SBIR grants and things, as far as curating talent here in Los Angeles area? Because I've had no real support locally for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we bring in one of the heads that helps to just explain more about the SBIR and STTR process and how to lock that funding in. And we can also help sort of identify what partners you might need there so that we can get that ball rolling. But yeah, if you're not interested in venture funding, certainly not a requirement to go through the program, just an added benefit.
And when you said which partners to identify, you mean technical partners that are local or in funding partners?
Funding partners.
Okay, thanks. And
Yep.
do you have a broad reach into that and some history with it?
Yes. Yeah. So it won't just be, it'll be pulling from that global network I mentioned of more than, hundreds of active mentors we have. So we can sort of leverage our network there and support with whoever you might need as a match funding partner.
Okay, thank you.
Any question here, folks here? Or you want to just introduce yourself to Breacher, know each other? Anyone? Oh. Well, I think I'll just mention this question. I mean, which as I mentioned earlier today, those logos are on the your chart. Are these kind of official partner, or you are just using it as like those are the possibly people in the community? Because sometimes you have the logo for Boeing, but what is exactly Boeing role with you, or you just indicate that that's a potential what kind of relationship?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the slides with the many logos, those are all of like mentor affiliations, community partner affiliations. The only ones that are official for this program are the Jet Propulsion Lab, MITRE, RAND, and UCLA, along with the City of El Segundo and City of LA. So everything else is more mentorship support, resource support.
Yeah, because this is good case. For example, I saw your logo on a city, for example, City of El Segundo.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the role of the City of El Segundo in your program?
Yeah,
For
so
example.
we have some partners that help us so for instance, if we had and actually this is a real case, if we had a company who was looking at transportation regulation, for instance, in the city of LA, and wanted to get more information about that, we can connect them with someone in their office to give them more insight into what process they need to follow, or what things that they need to present in order to get that done. And then secondarily is that the grant opportunity that is supporting the execution of the program is held up by them as well. So really just acting as a resource partner for us. So if there's anyone who needs specific information, or is looking to make inroads for a pilot project, for instance, with the city, then we can reach out to someone, to our contact there, to help move that forward for them.
And my next question is, our next speaker, as you your state and is from Japan, and how does it work with your program with international partner? For example, Dr. Guzman here from Mexican Space Agency, and of course, next speaker from Japan. And then, of course, my question is only for, you say you have to be incorporated, but when you say startup, so is there kind of years of limitation? For example, the company in the next presentation by Mr. Komatsu, I think they started recently, but what do you have some kind of range years that you define as startup? 5 years, 10 years?
Right.
Those kinds of things. So basic two questions. I see Dr. Guzman has a raised hand, but these two, can you kind of explain to us?
Of course, yeah. So the program is open to global companies. If you're looking to expand into the US market, this would be a perfect program for you. And then second piece was, sorry, remind me again, what was the second part of the question?
The startup, how do you define startup?
Right, time frame.
What is your range of service?
Right,
and
right, yeah.
You just mentioned the international partner, just you do support, but it's basically is the mentorship program, to help them. But if you have some investor, decide to invest, they can also invest international. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the range of startup?
Wide range of startups, and then also time frame, it does not matter. We've had companies come in who started their company early 2022, late 2021. As long as your company is registered and incorporated, then no issues. It doesn't have to be operating for a certain amount of time.
So even this company, after 10 years, they can still seek your help.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
I see Adrian, Dr. Guzman has raised hand, so go ahead, Dr. Guzman.
Thank you very much. Yes, as a matter of fact, we are trying to incentivize, I mean, to the development of new Mexican startups. As I mentioned it before, we are planning our second lunar mission with a Mexican startup in a public-private partnership. Sorry, with Airbus, but we would like to develop also a regional ecosystem. So we are trying to look forward the creation of companies also in the US with both US and Mexican capital in order to try to take advantage of these opportunities, because I think it's the way forward. And I will be delighted to present to you what we are trying to advance here. I live in Querétaro, which is a city in the very bottom of the country, and we have one of the largest aerospace clusters in Latin America. So we are pushing forward the creation of new companies for new opportunities in this area.
Yeah. Would love to talk further about that. Feel free to shoot me a note and we can have a deeper conversation about that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Awesome. Hey, Vijay, my name is Jeremy Robbins. I'm an attorney with the FAA. You mentioned you've got a lot of mentors that you're working with. Are you guys still in the need for more mentors on your program?
Yes, absolutely. More mentors are always welcome. Also, if you guys know more investor mentors, love to onboard more mentors. So yes, please.
I'll send you a link, or I'll send you a contact information after.
Great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So how do you, of course, we AIAA, also in the you want people to succeed. So how do you monitor the progress of the company? Do they have to report you monthly, annually, or kind of meeting with them to see how it goes once they are within your program?
Yeah, good question. So once the program concludes, we do some metrics reporting. So we do a check-in 6 months after the program just to see where things are. And then after that, you're a part of the community. So any support that you need, anytime that you reach out, we're happy to help with anything that you need. You're still in the fold. So we do some reporting about 6 months out from the program, and then following that, just sort of check in as needed.
Yeah, actually, Jeremy, that's a very good question about opportunity for mentors. It's very good. So you not only bring the program for people who need help for some, also bring opportunity for people who are willing to help others. That's very good.
Yep.
That because there are two people that are more experienced, those kinds of things. And actually, I had a question. Suddenly I forgot, but that's one of them. The other is, you don't have actually a direct representative in foreign countries, but they work directly with you, in the States. Is that the way for international partner?
Say that last piece again.
No, I'm saying, do you have international representative outside the country, or you're mostly domestic, but international have to contact you locally here?
For the SCALE program, they would, but for their representatives in other countries, so we have an office in Singapore, office in Munich, Tel Aviv, Paris, as I mentioned. There's one in India. So we have global representation for really any of the programs. So if someone were international and reached out to one of the regional offices, it would probably still funnel through me if this was the best opportunity. So honestly, they could reach out to me directly or one of our international offices, and we'll still vet the opportunity for the best support that we have.
Of course, for you speak with us, we'll definitely, people contact you, that's good. And just two quick comments. And one thing actually before the meeting, Mr. Shimizu talked about the commercial space, very important. And again, I want to mention to attendee AIAA Los Angeles Speaker Section have been doing new space mini conference every year in the past few years. Before and after pandemic or during pandemic, basically we want to capture this very important movement, and also national level we have Ascent conference, and also locally we have our own effort, and that's very important for people's career. There's the new space give people opportunity to work outside the conventional space. Of course, a lot of things that might still be with a major aerospace company, but they've opened up a lot of wonderful opportunities. For example, a couple of years ago, we have the Planetary Defense and Mini Conference. I remember there was a company in Pasadena. They were working on this asteroid mining. They actually have designed some kind of gadget, but you see, from our point of view, we just provide the platform. So I don't know exactly how they got funded or something like that. Sounds a good idea. They connect to one of our fellow, and seems the technology seems to be very sound and very good. And the other thing is, I want to mention about this AIAA platform, member or non-member. We have a very successful story that attendees working with speaker or among attendees, networking and things work out. We're happy to see it, even though we don't really know, the process of your private conversation. We're happy you succeed. And when you succeed, you come back, tell us your success, give a talk, and how people that's will be appreciated. That's something we'll try to say. So, any more question here? Sorry.
Hi, my name is Chris Gabriel. I'm here not as a startup and not as a mentor, but I've got a small engineering services and contract R&D company. Mostly we work with large companies and with government organizations, but also recently been getting interested in working with startups, early stage startups, people trying to get to their MVP or maybe in their phase 1 or phase 2 of their SIVR programs. Is there an opportunity for that type of interaction through the Starburst program?
There might be, as a resource. If you want to share some more information with me, I might be able to point some people there who might need it. But we don't sell anything to people directly. So I think the best bet would be to just share with me if you have a one-pager or something that I can pass along to the founders. I'll be happy to do so and funnel some more opportunities your way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing.
More question? No.
Great.
That's wonderful. 15, right on time. So we actually intended to have a short briefing so that people can network more. So hopefully, because we actually have this in a very short notice, and also this time starting 5:30 is the traffic hours. Otherwise, we were thinking to have. I think he was. So I think you were trying to talk to Seiya, right? Mr. Shimizu. Yeah. Yeah, actually, he was asking you to contact him. Yeah. Mr. Mona, you see the chat, right? You see the chat. Oh, don't worry. I can also forward to you after the event. Yeah. So what I was trying to say is because this is the first time short notice, even though we have been planning for a long time, but we're initially trying to figure a future time, but we just bridge a few today. right before the next talk is a great opportunity. It's somehow linked together, so we decided to do it quickly, and hopefully in the future we can have, real person have here and maybe have some food, snacks, and have fun together. Okay, very good. So thank you so much,
guys.
Bridget. Welcome to. I know you are stay
Yes.
because for the next talks. Also for the people here, stay for the next talk. So temporarily, I will stop recording here, and we'll wait for the speaker for the next session to show up.